Mercedes, nice to meet ya.
I like the
It's really
space
not
one
my character
for the
to
ad-libs.
be the one.
Whatever the space one is, I like it on the ad-libs sometimes.
I am Mercedes Cameron. I go by the name of Miss Benzo. I'm a songwriter and a singer.
I'm that wifey type, shit, I've been that wifey type. But he can't do me right now, he wasn't worth the fight.
I have always done music from before I can even remember. From talent agencies in Las Vegas to little talent shows. I'm 26 years old. How old is mommy?
22. Actually, tell me how old are you?
26.
Close.
I am Jamaican, Puerto Rican, and Caucasian. I have 3 beautiful boys, 6, 4, and 2, and they're the ones that keep me going. They're the ones that give me the ambition. Growing up, I've always had a blended family. My parents separated when I was 6 weeks old, so I always grew up with step parents, and moving from home to home, it definitely wasn't an easy lifestyle growing up. I'm the oldest of 8, and one stepsister who has passed away in 2 years ago. My siblings have always been my little children. I've raised them since before I can remember to, and I took over when I could too and took care of them the best that I could as well. We have a very musical family. My brother's a rapper, my sister songwrites. We also have lots of bloodline in our family that's musical as well. My grandfather is Tall Ross from the Funkadelics. He's based in North Carolina. He is the Funkadelics guitar player. My grandfather on my mother's side is Jack Hennig. He's a country singer. He wasn't involved in her life at all whatsoever. I've never met him, but he also had records that were distributed throughout Canada. His son is Jake Ryan from The Bounce, so he's more of a local radio guy. Growing up, I was raised a lot by my grandparents, my great-grandma and my Grammy. She has always been there for me from day one. When I moved out with her. I still live with her.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Granny. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, she's just an amazing woman inside and out. She's always done her absolute best. She's given her all to make sure that I have everything that I need, and I try my best to give her that too. She's great with my children as well. My mom and dad have always been my best friends, and I think that's where we've had the issues of the parent role, because they've always been more of my friend than my parent, but it was very beneficial because it made me who I was today. It gave me that responsibility that I needed to understand growing up, and it made me the mother that I am too.
Her kids love her. Like, I noticed that she does let them be independent. She's not always hawking them, but at the same time, she does have her peripheral on them at all times.
I don't know how she does it. It's crazy. She's like, she works, she does all this shit. I think of her as a terrific mother. She's badass at it.
She knows where everyone is. She knows what everyone is doing. Even when at Conflict's place, there's one kid outside doing something and we're in here with the other two, she knows what the other one is doing. And she has that instinct where she just gets up and runs outside like, yo, wagwan, blah.
Being a single mother is the most uplifting, unexplainable, priceless, amazing, unimaginable feeling in the world. Honestly, being a single mom is something I wouldn't change. It's something that I don't hate it.
Her parenting, great. I can just see the mannerisms and things that I value in my parents and other parents that I see, and I think that's very important. You know, like ground level, the most important thing, family.
Now I lay me down to sleep.
Down to sleep.
I pray the Lord,
I pray the Lord,
my soul to keep.
my soul to keep.
If I should die
If I should die
before I wake,
before I wake,
I pray the Lord,
I pray the Lord,
my soul to take.
my soul to take.
In Jesus' name,
In Jesus' name,
amen.
amen.
And then what do I say at the end of that?
I don't know.
What do I say at the end of the prayer to you?
Good night.
And
I love you.
Her boys come first over everything. She wants the best for them. She goes out of her way in any way she can just to make sure that they have the best of everything. And she's very nurturing and loving. And she was like that as a sister too. She just was there with her siblings and helped me out a lot.
Being a single mother that has been married for 4 years is a completely different story than starting off as a single mother. However, it's so much alike.
She's a good mom to her kids, and she made them, like, she's like raising them really good.
She's very special as a mother, really takes time with her children and spends individual time with all three of them. Sometimes I wonder where she gets the energy.
I was around my mom, but I wasn't. So I was able to teach myself a lot when it came to being a single mother. My mother was a single mother of 7 children. So I knew what it was, and I grew up with the mentality of not actually needing a man in my life to help me raise my children. However, I always wanted to have that in my life because I wanted my children to have the male figure.
I really don't know how to explain her as a mother other than she's really good with them, and it's surprising at such a young age that she is such a good mom.
As a mother, she's a very dedicated and passionate mother. I mean, she definitely puts her kids first and foremost, pretty much beyond, anything else. And as a mother, that's an amazing quality to have, nonetheless, to cater to your kids to the best of your abilities, ensure the best of everything for them.
She does a lot more than what this generation of mothers do, and she tries her hardest and has lots of support from family too, and that's always a bonus too.
I have, with drive and ambition and a whole lot of no sleep, I have been able to pay my bills on time. I've been able to still focus on my dreams and still write and still make sure that my boys have everything they need and more. It's the thing with being a single mom is you have to have the drive and the ambition, and you have to be able to push yourself and stand up and say, it's okay, I can be both parents. I don't need to have somebody by my side to help me do this because I chose this life.
World's best mom, #1 mom for sure. She's all about her kids.
Passionate about her children, definitely.
Just because the other person chose the life with you doesn't mean that they're gonna continue to stay true to their word. It's you that has to do it.
Do you remember when we made up the Whip and Nene song, but we changed it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you sing it? Who?
You.
You!
No,
You!
She takes care of my kids as well, you know what I'm saying? We've got a combined family, so it's definitely a good vibe to have someone like that around that, puts family first.
Okay, well, I love you guys. Let's go play outside.
Through my separation it was difficult, but it was mutual. It was something that we all seen coming. I seen it coming, he's seen it coming, the family seen it coming. It wasn't a horrible marriage or anything like that. We were best friends growing up in junior high.
She's a wonderful mother. There isn't anything that little girl can't do. I call her little girl because she still is a little girl to me.
One thing that I've always promised myself is just to make sure that my children don't see us fight. And rocking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And when she rocked him, she sang, I'll love you forever. And my children don't see us not like each other, and our children don't see us hate each other. I don't want them to see hate. I don't want them to think that they were made from hate. They were made from love, and at that current time, that's how we were feeling, and we chose them, and that's what we wanted God to give us. So being a single mom is hard as fuck, and I cry all the time, and I laugh all the time, and I yell all the time, and I stress the hell out all the time. But the minute that I see those boys' eyes, and the minute that I see them tell me or hear them tell me that they love me, or read me a book, or even when there's poop everywhere and the house is a horrible mess and I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do, I just take a breather and I realize that this is what I was meant to do, was to be a mom.
Seems to be a very good parent. She cares about their kids and she loves them and she has big plans for them.
Right, where are we?
At the drama shoot.
At the drama video shoot for Sincere.
To become everything that I ever wished to be, even before them, to show my children that dreams and goals do happen regardless of the circumstance that you're in. And when it's hard, that should just give you more drive. My children made me understand my life meaning. Our house was always packed full. Even if we had a 2-bedroom, we had 10 people in the house.
Let's get it. You're doing the same thing I'm doing.
When we lived in Vegas, it was like, literally looked like a shelter because we would have all of our cousins, all of our aunts, all of our uncles in the house. I mean, there was already 8 of us, so that's already enough as is, but imagine all 8 of us inviting our friends and our family members over every single day. The beds were packed full, the barbecues were always going. Being the oldest, I was always the babysitter, so I was always babysitting all my brothers and sisters' friends and all my mom's friends' kids. But it created good relationships with a lot of people. Everybody's my cousin and everybody's my aunt. It was crazy growing up because you never really knew what was gonna happen. We went from Edmonton to Las Vegas and lived in the city of sins for 10 years, and everybody thought it was just a big, huge dream to be around the strip all the time and stuff. But once you live there, you understand that it's not good living quality, and you could kind of do anything you wanted there, though.
I nicknamed her Beauty Baby when she was born, and she truly has lived up to that name in every walk of life. She's beautiful inside and out. I couldn't ask for a better granddaughter.
My grandmother always understood me. She kept my secrets and stood by me from the moment I was born, and she's always been my rock.
We're super tight, like ever since we're kids, like since before I could talk, walk, use a washroom, we've just been tight forever. So we're number one since day one. I love you, Merce.
She's like my best friend, like really, she's my firstborn. She's always been great with all the kids, and her and I have a really tight relationship. We're very, very close.
She has driven me home, she has fed me, she has thought of me when we haven't spoken to each other in quite a long time, and that just goes a long way. There's not a lot of people in this world that keep you in mind over such a long period of time.
She's always there for me.
My inspiration is my daughter, my number one. What keeps me going and keeping me positive. And that's pretty much, since she was born, that's been my thing, just to make sure that she's guided through life with whatever support she needs and always be there for her regardless of anything.
Role model, a leader, and she's passionate, so good energy.
Loyal. There's nothing, the first thing with Mercedes is family.
She's really caring, she's thoughtful, and she's just fun to be around. She knows how to light up the mood.
I think it's really amazing how she balances family and music and like all the things she has to do.
Full of life, she's exciting, she's a wonderful mom. She's very mature for her age.
Always there for me.
What's your favorite things to do with Mommy?
You already asked that one.
You didn't answer it.
Yes, I actually did.
What was it?
I said I don't know.
Growing up, I always wanted to save lives. From a young age, I always dreamed to be that person that could say that I've saved more lives than I can count. When I was 8 years old, my brother and sister were born. They were born at 26 weeks old. They were 1 pound. They were inside of the hospital for around 4 months. It was the most difficult time, I would say, of our life, besides my brother passing away a couple of years before that. Right after that, about 2 years later, my brother was born as well at 26 weeks and 1 pound. It was not easy for our family to adapt to having that in our lives, having to go back and forth to the hospital every single day and watching these doctors work on these tiny little babies that don't even look like they should be moving. They're the size of your hand. They wear doll clothes, and their little tiny hearts are being worked on, and their little tiny lungs are being worked on. That's what gave me the influence to, after watching all 3 of my brothers and sisters successfully being revived consistently for 4 months straight, and now are adults and striving, and they're healthy and they're happy, it made me want to become a neonatologist. When I got pregnant with my son, I then chose to not go to school for 10 years to become a neonatologist because I wanted to take care of my own children. During the time of my second pregnancy with my middle son, I chose that I wanted to be a paramedic. Once again, I wanted to save lives. I wanted to be that person that could stop you from dying. I wanted to be that savior because I felt like I was put in this world to save lives. In 2014, I was pregnant with my middle son, Aries. I ended up having him on my birthday on January 31st at 34 weeks. Everything seemed fine. He was premature, so he was in the NICU ward, and I didn't know what was kind of happening. At 8 days postpartum, I had stopped bleeding, and that was that. My husband at the time, he showed up as a surprise, and he came to the house and surprised me, and I wanted to let him meet his son. So we went to the hospital, and when we went there, I felt like something was wrong. And at that time, I went to the bathroom and there was blood everywhere. I ran downstairs to the emergency room and they rushed me into the surgery room, and all of a sudden the doctors are saying that I'm bleeding out, I'm hemorrhaging. Whatever that meant, I didn't know. And that was about 5 hours straight I was bleeding. I ended up having a placenta retention, and I lost 8 pounds of blood. I had blood transfusions. I had a premature baby still in the NIC ward that I was trying to breastfeed. I had a 2-year-old at home, and we're all missing work. So I ended up living through that, which was not a common thing. It wasn't painful. If I didn't go to the hospital that day, I would have died. I would have died at my house by myself in my bed. After that, after the recovery, it went well. We decided to have another son in 2015. I started feeling like I had strep throat. My neck was hurting all the time. My throat was hurting all the time. I was 12 weeks pregnant. I went to the hospital because I was so traumatized from my last experience at the hospital. I tried to not go there as often. When I went to the hospital, they told me that I had strep throat and I just wanted drugs. And I've never been a pill user or a drug user or anything like that. I don't even like taking Tylenol. So my reasoning for being there was a pretty high pain. When I went back the second time, the pain was getting worse. I went back 4 times before they finally admitted me to the hospital. When I got to the hospital for the 4th time, I finally met an amazing doctor, and he tested me and said that I had thyroiditis. which could have been caused from me being pregnant so fast with my hormones, or who knows what it was caused by. I was in the ER and admitted for 4 days before they sent me up to my own room. When I got to my own room, they waited another 10 days. As my neck started getting bigger and bigger, we started asking for scans and x-rays and CTs and MRIs, and I'm pregnant still, dealing with this pain, and now on pain medication, pregnant, and we're trying to refuse medicine. Finally, they tried to tell me there was still nothing wrong, and my mom sent me for the last scan to find out if there was anything in my neck. They sent me for the last scan, and it looked to be one cyst next to my thyroid. They tried to manually take it out with a needle out of my neck. Because I was pregnant, they didn't want to send me for surgery. It was unsuccessful. The infection was left for so long after they turned me down over and over and over that the infection was stuck in my neck and eating my neck alive. On day 15 is when they finally decided to send me for surgery. I was bleeding, I was miscarrying, and they told me to not expect to have my child still if I woke up. They told me I had around a 4% chance to live. And if I do live through it, I will have tubes in my neck for the rest of my life, that I won't be able to sing, never mind talk. And it was basically write your will, and that's just it. I woke up and I lived through the surgery, and my son is turning 3 now. It took me 2 years to recover, and my voice is still recovering. It's still in recovery, and I don't think that I'm the best singer in the world. I don't think that I'm the best performer in the world, but one thing I do know is that I faced death in the eyes twice in 2 years. So being able to stand up on a stage and even sing one note or sing one song is the greatest success of my life and the greatest accomplishment for my children to watch. So criticism won't ever be an issue for me.
Hello everybody, I'm Dr. Cal Ansari. I'm a otolaryngology head and neck surgeon, and my patient Mercedes, I saw her about 3 years ago with a very unique consult that I've never seen before. She was 3 months pregnant and had developed thyroiditis in her left thyroid lobe. It was severe pain in her neck, and she had been tried on various courses of antibiotics and conservative therapy to remove the abscess fluid with needles, and this was completely unsuccessful. The other surgeons that were looking after her did not want to proceed with surgery because they were afraid of things that I was afraid of course, was putting Mercedes through a big operation and compromising her pregnancy. Mercedes was very sick at the time and very reasonable, and I think when we talked, Mercedes, you said to me that, just please try to save my life, because if you don't save my life, well, my baby's life is not going to be safe. So you kind of logically figured it out that we needed to go in and do this operation. We went in and did the operation on a very emergent level. You were very sick, you had a high fever, you were septic. We started lifting up the skin, and I remember that we couldn't go through the standard way where we split the muscles in the midline of the neck and try to get at the thyroid gland. It was all inflamed and scarred and bleeding and red, and so we were having some difficulty trying to identify that recurrent laryngeal nerve before we removed this nasty mess. So we ended up having to actually resect, I think, some of the strap muscles,
the full strap muscle
on the left-hand side, and actually we found that was stuck to your carotid artery area, the blood supply to your neck. So we had to move that out of the way and then do a lateral approach. And eventually we were lucky. We did find your nerve. It was stuck to your nerve. We dissected that out. We got the entire left half of the thyroid gland out with all the abscess. So it was a long surgery, but a successful one. Mm-hmm. I think you turned the corner right away. After that nastiness was out of there, you turned the corner right away. And I think the OBGYN was watching you too and stuff, and they were doing some ultrasounds of your baby and stuff afterwards, and everything turned out very well. And I'm just actually just honored that I had the opportunity to look after such an amazing, strong, beautiful person like you. And I'm glad that you put your trust in me, because it's so nice to hear that you have this professional singing career still. Your voice sounds awesome.
Thank you.
I even know that after you were recovering, we did have some concerns that there was a little bit of weakness to the
vocal cords.
The vocal cord. But as we did all our follow-ups, that just gradually improved and got better and better, like I thought it would.
It did.
And now your son is 3 years old, so that's really awesome too. So thank you so much for letting me look after you. It's a real blessing for me to take care of you.
Thank you so much. You saved
Yeah.
my life. So anybody that wants a good ENT, he's a busy man though.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for your time, and thank you for saving my life and not having too much hope. And yeah, you definitely gave me hope to want to do music again. Cal Ansari saved my life. It took me a long time to realize that maybe I didn't have to save lives through medical. Maybe I didn't have to save lives through the government. Maybe I could save lives with my lyrics instead. Maybe I could save lives with my music and show people that you can heal through music. I have always wanted to be a singer and songwriter. I've always taken it seriously, very seriously. And the last 2 years is when I took it the most serious. After my neck surgery, I wanted to basically give up everything with music. And I realized that I was losing myself in the process, that music was what was saving me.
See those other girls, well I can do it better. Yeah, I can do whatever. I won't be the one to test it like I'm that wifey type. Shit, I've been that wifey type. But he can't do me right now. He was
Death has always been my biggest fear, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. It's not my biggest fear because I'm afraid of it hurting. It's my biggest fear because I'm afraid that I won't get enough done before it's my time. I've never really understood life and death. You're born, and then you do a bunch of work, and then you die. And that's the basis of it. While I'm spending hours and hours cleaning my home, it makes me wonder if I should just stop doing that and I should just travel everywhere with my kids and smile and enjoy life. And I believe in God and I believe in prayer. But part of me has always been afraid of waking up one day and you or somebody you love isn't there. So dealing with that fear, I still have my issues, but I've always tried to do the most I can in one day. I don't go to sleep mad. I say I love you to every single person I love every single night. I'm that girl that still calls her mom and her grandma and her dad and her boyfriend every single night before bed and tell them that I love them. Before my great grandma passed away, I always said I love you, sweetheart, all the time. And now I say it to my grandma every single night, and we don't go to sleep without saying goodnight. My family's very, very close, so having that fear is definitely a hard one, especially with kids. But knowing that you can't change fate makes me kind of understand a little bit, and that's why music, I feel, if I can be remembered in this world as a positive impact, then I'm happy with that. I feel like that's a success.
Oh, cleaning up. Good job. Mommy has to get ready for a show. Yes.
Usher was a great contribute to my dreams when it came to music. The honesty and the loyalty that he put into his music and the craft that he had reminded me a lot of Michael Jackson, who I also was absolutely obsessed with and still am from day one. I would come home every day from school and watch The American Dream and watch him grow up and want to be just like him. Having Usher around still makes me feel like there's still a little bit of Michael left. Mariah Carey she's like my life story. Like Mariah Carey, she has my initials and she she was raised the same way and she's the same mix, and I was always called Little Mariah Carey, always. So I was always forced to sing her songs, and my mom sang her songs to me growing up. She, regardless of what anybody says, was the realest person that I've ever seen perform in person. When she's drinking her tea and not caring that there's millions of people watching her, she is a very real person, and I don't blame her for having negative days, and I don't blame her for being rude to people and society looking at her like she's not respectful, because she's dealt with this for years and years and years. And just because she might look like she has everything, and all these stars look like they have everything, but they don't have privacy, and they don't have their own time, and they can't choose what they're doing, and they can't just be in sweatpants and look like crap because then they're on magazine covers saying that they got fat or they're broke out in pimples like everybody else in the world. Usher and Mariah Carey and Michael Jackson are my all-time inspirations growing up, and I really wanted to start writing because of them.
Money, 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 I'ma get it right now. I'ma get the money right now. Get the money right now. I'ma get the money right now. You say you fucking with me. You may not know it, but I'ma make it show it. Cock it back like I'm loaded. Even if you don't condone it, and I
spend a lot of time with myself and my mother, learning to cook and learning to sew and learning to do all the little things that you need to know as you're older. She always seemed to want to be with us, more so than the other grandchildren. But she was more willing to learn these things than the other kids, I guess, because she was a girl and the rest of them were boys.
We were tight growing up, for sure, like forever. And the only times that we weren't tight is when she moved to Vegas, and then she came back. But even when she came back, it's like nothing changed, you know. We just fell back to the exact same rules, how tight we were before.
But she was very good kid with us. Gave her mother a run for her money, but she was good with my mom and I.
Music has always been a passion growing up, and it didn't really make sense. Why? I mean, everybody likes music, but why do my parents like music so much? Why do I like music so much? Why does it make me feel this way? And I truly believe it's because, well, finding out later in life that my bloodline is all music everywhere I look. But I definitely am very proud that I'm continuing on tradition.
We were more of best friends than anything. We spent a lot of time together. She was like my best friend. I was a single mom with her and her siblings, so she was my best friend, and she's just an amazing girl.
My mother has always guided me towards my music. She is the strongest person I know. She is my person.
Perfect life is being able to have enough time to educate my children and still chase my dreams and succeed on my dreams. Having a successful relationship and a successful marriage. But I like having an imperfect life. I like having flaws. I like knowing that I'm not perfect. I like knowing that my family isn't perfect, that there's going to be bad days and there's going to be good days, and to expect those phone calls, because if I don't have bad days, I'm not going to ever understand what the good is. So a perfect life to me is the life I'm living. It's my best life.
I love her. I'm very close with her now. We talk every single day. There's not a day that goes by that she's not on my phone calling me, making sure everything's okay. So yeah, very close relationship.
Good, we were really close.
Always loving, fun. She was good. She was always loyal, solid.
It was good. We were really close. I was around her kind of a lot more. She was kind of just holding everything together for the family, so we were very close.
Like brother and sister, as opposed to, you know, I do, you know, try and direct her, but getting mad is not top of my charts. We have a very open talking relationship on every level.
My father and stepmother have always shown me the value of $1. My father is the most understanding, wholehearted person I know, and my stepmother loved me even if she didn't have to.
From the time I moved into Edmonton, I was told about Mercedes. Everybody's telling me I need to meet this Mercedes because she's such a good singer. So although I didn't have that kind of relationship with her, she had a name in her city for a person who hardly really did any shows or anything.
I have performed in the little bit of time that I started performing so many amazing places.
Thank you everybody for coming out tonight.
I opened for Tyga at Knoxville's. That was great. It was really fun. It was my first time ever doing my own solo backtrack song. And that was the first time I ever released Karma too. So there was great feedback there.
Her stage presence is really good. She seems like a natural up there for sure. The people I'm sitting with are usually her friends and family, but the energy that we all get from her being on stage is definitely like something powerful. You know, like I think the crowd response is really good.
My first place I ever performed was in Calgary at Hi-Fi with a band called Honor Roll, the Honor Roll Collective. They are all amazing people. Everybody in that band are so amazing. I worked with them for 3 or 4 months. I needed to do some soul searching. I really did. I needed to find what I needed for my music.
Her stage presence, she draws everybody in. She brings everybody kind of into her story, which is nice, and makes everybody a big part of everything she does. Great performer. I love to go to all of her shows.
As much as I would love to any day work with them again, we kind of just do collaborations now when it comes to music. I then ventured into my own band with Conflict. We both had our band, and we did shows at On the Rocks. We did shows at the Rec Room South. We did shows at 9910 based in Edmonton.
She completely surprised me. I think it's a typical thing that happens, and maybe something I've never seen before, but when you know someone in real life and you see them sing, I think especially sing versus rapping, you know, I guess other forms, but it just blew me away, like completely different person, so natural, and everybody loved her.
And it was great. The connection with Conflict is out of this world. I also do work with Uzila. And he is just like my other half when it comes to music. I swear the chemistry that we have when it comes to our music is amazing. He can just look at me and I'll know what he's thinking when it comes to where I need to put my vocals, or, you know, I keep asking him to be my manager, but he hasn't responded yet.
Actually started off very differently, where when she started singing with Honor Roll, she was a background vocalist, so she didn't have to do as much front work. She was more reserved, shy. When you give her 15 minutes of fame, though, you give her that solo, she runs into it and she's all up in there.
Anyways, I've worked with amazing artists out there, amazing bassists, amazing pianists, amazing guitarists, you know, God, amazing drummers. And
for the, you know, a lot of people show up and a lot of people are impressed the fact that how much she's done just in the short time that she's decided to hop up on the stage and start singing, so.
And I essentially started with a man named Keith Fix. He was the first person I ever worked with, and he really did push me into music. He really stood by me and did a lot for me, and I appreciate him, and I respect that. Kairos and the Honor Roll, they were great. I love everybody in that group.
She engages with the audience. She's not one to just, you know, stand there and act shy on the stage.
You have to take every single chance that you ever think of doing. Because if you don't, you won't know where you'll end up.
She'll definitely get out there and, you know, try to reach her audience in any way possible. You know, she'll definitely try to connect with people, even if it's on an individual basis or if it's on a large scale audience.
It's a vibe, and the crowd is just into it because it's real, so people could eat it up.
She is like a magnet on stage. She draws everybody in. She is very talented, and this is something I've known since she used to sing into her baby bottle when she was 2 years old. I knew this is what she was going to do. She's meant to do.
They're very excited to see her. Everybody waits, and you could just see, like, they just all light up when she comes on.
As for music in itself, to me, it's not about boosting who you are or or the clout or your ego or the money or the fame or anything like that. Music to me is something that I started to take seriously 2 years ago, but I've always used music as my therapy. I don't need a psychiatrist to tell me that my childhood was crazy. I don't need a psychiatrist to tell me that I should take this pill. I need music in my life, and I need a pen and I need a piece of paper so that I can let out everything that I'm feeling on paper, and I can stand up and tell the whole world. That's my medication. Being able to stand on a stage in front of hundreds of people and tell them that you felt so depressed that you didn't want to be here, and then you tell them how uplifted you were after that, is the best therapy in the world, being able to let that out. And one thing about music is that you need to be careful, because when it comes to the ups, the adrenaline and the ups with music is you don't even need to have a drink. It's the best feeling I could ever explain to you when you're finally releasing your songs and you're finally performing. Those butterflies, if you don't get those, stop doing it.
She's crazy with it, and the crowd obviously loves that kind of stuff because the songs that she writes are from the heart, and the fact that she performs them, the way she performs them just happens to connect with people just because it's authentic, and people like it, and she gets a pretty good response.
You can also go into a writer's block, and you can also go into a deep depression where it is the lowest of the low. So music, it will give you the highest of the high, but it will give you the lowest of the low. So just beware with your surroundings and beware with what you're doing with music, and you'll make it. You know, I truly believe that music is the only thing that can and will save me.
My favorite to this point is Heaven Isn't Ready. It makes the hair stand up on your arms. It's just very, very, very good. The lyrics that she uses are just out of this world. They really get you hooked.
Heaven Isn't Ready, because I just like how she's singing in it, and just how the beat goes.
I think it's Heaven Can Wait, and it's just inspirational, and it's kind of, and then it also kind of ties into her deep roots. She has, I was adopted, so she has grandparents that are white, and then also has my biological family, which the father is from the deep south. And it just brings up a lot of, history and time and how everything connects. It's just a really good song.
Heaven Isn't Ready is really close to my heart.
Heaven Isn't Ready. When she played that song, it really hit home. I don't know, it was one of those weird songs where it actually gave me goosebumps. If there's any song that blows up and gets her known, it's gonna be that song for sure.
The one I sing with her, you make me feel like a real woman should. I love that track.
Heaven Isn't Ready. I love that one. Yeah.
And the other one she wrote about her sister. I didn't pay attention to it until she performed it at the rec room. And I was distracted. I don't know what I was distracted by, and then all of a sudden my attention pointed on Mercedes. And at that point, when I listened to the lyrics, the melody, the groove, the way she performed that song, it's a song that stuck with me in my heart, and probably one that I'll learn and maybe end up covering one day. When I reach the height of my fame, after you guys follow me on Instagram, OOZELA.
Heaven Isn't Ready. They're all real, but that one's it's a good energy to it.
Heaven Isn't Ready was inspired specifically by somebody whom I was very close to. I'm not going to state names, but this person was in a coma for a very long time and had overdosed. It hit very close to home. There's been so many overdoses in this last little bit that I don't even know where to begin. When I wrote Heaven Isn't Ready, I wanted people to know that whether you know somebody with addictions, or whether you have an addiction, or you've successfully recovered from an addiction and you've thought about relapsing, or you've lost somebody to addiction, or you've almost lost somebody to addiction, regardless of what it is, heaven isn't ready for you. You know, there's so many programs out there, and there's so much will that you can use to fight through that. And even if you feel like you want to give up and you feel like you can't take it anymore, and using makes you feel better, it's not a gateway tool, because it will take you away one day, and heaven just isn't ready for you to go. Writing Heaven Isn't Ready was definitely very hard for me, especially with the singing part, because I hit notes I never thought that I could hit ever. It was from the bottom of my heart, and it was real, and it was life-changing writing that song. It showed me that my genre was completely different. It showed me that people can be uplifted by this, and hopefully it can change people. Hopefully it can, even if it changes one person, then I'll be happy. What's your favorite song that Mommy sings?
Revenge. Turn back the time, take it to your face, but I gave up my pride. I was wrong, but it felt right. Now I'm sitting here doing 25 to life.
When it comes to revenge, it's kind of self-explanatory. If you listen to the words, it's self-explanatory. It was influenced by Amy Winehouse when it came to my vocals. It was influenced by my live band when it came to the instrumental. I didn't have my live band actually do it, but I had amazing producers to do it with me, and I wanted it to have that rustic, raw sound to it, and I wanted that feel to be there. You know, I wanted people to feel that when somebody hurts you so bad, you have completely let them go in your mind mentally, and that's why I say I gave you my heart, so I took your soul.
I'm that wifey type shit, I've been that wifey type, but he can't do me right now, he wasn't worth the fight. I'm that kind of girl you wanna take to mama, I'm not here for that drama, I'm that period, no commas, right? Not fictitious love, I'm not malicious love, that ride or die.
Real Eyes is a song that took me a very long time to write. I usually write music very fast. It's all based off of my emotion, so writing this song was hard. It took me 2 years to finally write a song about my sister. My sister Tiana passed away 2 years ago due to suicide. The first verse is based off of my cousin Tulio. He passed away from what they say is drug use. It definitely has some signs of foul play. So those same bullies that bullied my sister showed up to her funeral. The bullies still get to go to school, and the bullies still get to live their life. The bullies still get to have children and make a family and see their family, and because of them, my sister felt so worthless that she took her own life. I felt like she had nobody. So I'm asking society why we're living in such a world that we're allowing people to take their lives away due to whether it's drugs or suicide or crime. How blind are we really to keep turning our heads to it instead of trying to help? You know, how are we to live our lives on a daily basis being so cruel that we're literally our own population control? We are killing the world in itself because we can't make a change altogether. One person can't do it. I can't change everybody's life, but if I could change one person's life and that person could change the next person's life, then maybe we could start a domino reaction.
Why there's still drugs and there's violence? Why we're still silent? Why are we living this way? So I'm asking why.
Yeah, fuck. Can I swear?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. The way that a lot of people talk shit, but she doesn't. She's a doer, and I don't know. When I see people that aren't talking shit and actually doing things, it's cool. It's like, I don't know. You kind of feed off that, and I'd like to be more like that.
Yeah, by all of her shows, but I've only been to one, and that was really good.
Just to to be good, to, you know, stay on the right side of the track. And yeah, when you have a child, you end up gaining lots of respect and morals and thinking of repercussions as opposed to not really caring what happens in the end. So
I'd say, yeah, she was definitely a huge inspiration to me on a daily basis. I'm able to see the amount of care that she can, you know, give to so many others, including myself, obviously. And again, going back to the passion that she has in what she does. And, you know, aside from myself, I know she inspires many others just from looking out and the way that she goes about, you know, trying to accomplish her achievements.
I lost my son 2 months ago, and she's helped me spiritually.
Absolutely. Working with Mercedes right now inspires me because of how seriously she takes the business aspect of music. I mean, in my opinion, just simple things like registering for SOCAN, copywriting her songs, she's done more than maybe 50 to 75% of the upcoming artists in such a short period of time. She started as a background vocalist 8 months ago. Now she's a lead vocalist who has her own band.
Yeah, Mercedes' songwriting has really inspired me.
Work ethic just inspires me every day, pretty much, man. The work ethic is crazy. When you're working with her, best believe you're not sleeping before whatever you're working on is done.
Mental illness is so common, yet we still have a blind eye to it. Just because it isn't physical doesn't mean it isn't real. The number of victims are rising on a daily basis, yet we still turn our heads. Just because we can't see it with our own eyes doesn't mean it isn't happening around us. I myself deal with this daily, but that doesn't mean I can't help others around me. We are not responsible for the challenges people deal with throughout their lives. However, we can make an impact on their day. That can change the way they view the world in itself. One word can change someone's life. Telling someone they're beautiful or handsome can change their day. Asking somebody how they're feeling can change their emotions. Telling someone they're worth it can give them hope. You are worth it, as am I. I'm okay doesn't always mean they are. Pay attention. Try to understand the battle people have in their own minds. We can make a difference. Have mercy. It's not you, it's me.
Have Mercy is a song that's based off of mental illness. It was an interesting song to write. I actually reached out on Facebook to a lot of people and different groups and stuff, and I got people to message me something that they could describe mental illness, the mental illness that they had. If they could describe to me how it would feel for a person that can't relate. Mental illness is all in your mind, right? It's mentally, so people can't actually visualize how you're feeling, and you can't visualize how you're feeling, but if you were to be able to explain it in a way that was more understandable, maybe people can relate more. The way that I described it was being at the top of a roller coaster and you're just about to fall down on that dip, and right before you drop you get that deep feeling in your stomach. That's what anxiety is like to me. Depression is just a shade of gray that you're in, where you just, doesn't matter if there's highs or lows or if there's black and whites, it's just always being in that main monotone shade of gray, you know. So I was diagnosed with OCD, depression, anxiety, and PTSD last year, and it all made sense, but it wasn't something that was acceptable to me to go on medication for. I found my grounding, the things that would ground me. I found that my OCD and cleaning helped my depression, because that's when you can tell when I'm having a bad day, because I'm cleaning more and I'm getting everything done more. My PTSD is something that's difficult, but I try to stay away from my triggers. My anxiety, I used to try medication for it, and I found that just writing songs and releasing through music has helped me a lot. I hope that it changes people. I hope that it gives them either something they can relate to, or just something that people can understand, and you know, it helped me either way. If it doesn't help anybody else, it It helped me, and it helped my mind, and it helped my heart. And I understand now.
She actually played me her Nicki Minaj album, and the reason I compare her to Nicki and Cardi is because she can rap and sing at the same time. Vocal-wise, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say, but character-wise, even just today, we had a conversation. She was explaining that she wants to be authentic. She doesn't want to be a manufactured artist who has everything perfect all the time and her life is peachy clean. She doesn't mind giving a glimpse of her life. Well, I mean, yeah, that's literally what she wants to do, because even she writes all her songs and so on. So she wants to give people an experience, a personal experience. Either way, you'd have to compare her with the best, no matter how you look at it. Definitely. Your top 5 artists, female or male, you can compare Mercedes with any of them.
Fictitious Love was written based off of my relationship that I'm in currently. It literally explains it to the T. Every single lyric is completely truthful. All my music is always completely truthful, but Fictitious Love in itself, it takes a lot for me to write a love song, so you have to be doing something right. I seen my current boyfriend, Gio, at my first show ever performing at Hi-Fi in Calgary. And I seen him from backstage. He was performing. He's a producer, he's a DJ, and I instantly was attracted to him. He ended up not saying anything to me though, which was interesting to me because I could see him looking at me too. He was very standoffish. He's not confrontational at all. And I went up to him and I introduced myself to him. I was very straightforward and I took the chance, and I have to say that I don't regret that at all. I was also very standoffish though. I mean, we both were married, so it went, what's your name? And it was, I'm Mercedes, and I'm going through a separation of 4 years, and I don't know if you're interested or not, but I have kids. And he's like, I'm Gio, I'm going through a separation, and I don't know if you're interested or not, but I have kids, and do you want to do something? And it from there, I mean, it was instant. Like we have been inseparable since the first day that we met, and it's been over a year now. Fictitious Love was completely based off of him though. I don't feel like somebody else should suffer because of your past relationships. We spend so much time focusing on what that last person did to you that you lose all sense of comfort in looking for love again. You give less and less of what you're supposed to give somebody, and that's why so many people continue to be alone, because they don't want to look for it, or they're looking too hard. And I wasn't looking. It just kind of happened, and I'm happy it did. It made me realize that I was worth maybe needing fixing too. Maybe I needed to be fixed. Maybe I needed help loving myself, and he gave me that. I did some collabs in the last little bit, and my brother, Dre Day is his name on SoundCloud. He has been releasing crazy tracks, and he is getting so good at his lyric skills. He is ambitious and he's outgoing. I recently did a collab with him called So Many Times. It's very in-depth. It kind of has like a Ja Rule, Ashanti type feel.
She inspires me to like be in my music 100% because like she gives 1,010%. So it kind of motivates me to be more of an artist myself too.
So many times I was trapping, I ran up a rack. So many times.
It's nice to have collaboration and features with a family member, because you don't see brother and sister doing music anymore. And we have quite a big dream now. We've been collabing a lot, and we plan on releasing some type of EP in the next little bit with him and I. Miss Benzo and Dre Day all the way. Karma essentially is to show all the guys around the world that women can can play you for a fool too. We usually, when we ask you questions, we already know the damn answer. You know, we're not dumb. And women can play the game too. And I'm not saying that women are innocent and perfect. I'm not innocent or perfect, but playing is playing, and sometimes karma's gonna bite you in the ass, and that goes for women and men out there. You can't think that you can get away with hurting somebody on multiple occasions and not deal with the consequences. So I wanted to create some type of alter ego where it shows two different sides of me.
Shit crazy. No, nah. A little bit. She's not.
Yeah, she's really crazy.
No, but yes.
Wait and see.
No, actually, I think she's perfectly sane.
Crazy enough that it's great.
No, just outspoken with a little no filter sometimes. But hey, that's how you get to the top.
She's a little crazy.
Crazy wonderful.
When Mercedes says I'm crazy, it's not that she's actually crazy. She's actually determined.
I need to release these things for my own sake. So Have Mercy is going to be forgiveness, mental illness, addictions, and suicide prevention. And I hope and pray that it changes so many people out there. That will be the first EP that I drop. I also want to release a EP for love. I want it to be the stages of love, though. I want it to show when you first meet that person, when you have your first fight, when you finally fall in love, and then the breakup process, which will turn into a side B. There's going to be a lot of mixed songs that are going to come out.
I mean, it's tough to put her in a category of who she would remind me of because she's so unique in her own style. Like, she's very message oriented, and she's in depth with her lyricism and with the emotion that she gains from the message that she's portraying. So I mean, if you were to put her in a category of other individuals that kind of accomplish that same thing.
Aaliyah, in terms of what she sings about, in terms of the concepts behind her songs,
who can I even consider her to be? I'd say like probably a Nelly Furtado. Amy Winehouse was pretty in depth with her messaging as well. Rest in peace.
Rihanna, sorta.
Musically, I think she's unique. Aesthetic-wise, quite a lot of people, just because she has that star appeal to her. So, Kalani, Sierra.
I have rap and hip hop. I have soul and R&B. You know, I have oldies, I have slow jams, I have 90s music that's going to be coming out, and it's going to make you not know what to expect because I go anywhere from mental illness to that cocky on the rise. You know, on the rise is crazy, so wait for it to drop because it's something. That one is going to blow people's minds. You know, that brought me back to my 18-year-old self. What to expect from Miss Benzo, though? Lots and lots and lots more. That's what you're going to expect from me. Photo shoots, video shoots, EP releases, hopefully radio interviews, and, you know, just me staying true to myself. That's one thing that I promise you guys I will always do is I will stay true to myself until the day I die, and I will stay true to you until the day I die. It doesn't matter what kind of label or what kind of signature comes. I plan on always being real with myself and loving myself and putting my children first and putting myself first. So expect a lot, and whatever you expect a hell of a lot more because I'm coming.
Just being herself. She's just special. She takes an interest in everything everybody does. Myself, she's always making sure I make my doctor's appointments and making sure I get there. Keeping journals of my doctor's appointments. She's very special. She always makes sure that I've got everything that I need.
She's changed my life in a lot of ways. Yeah, she's actually very mothering to me almost. If I'm going to, she's always watching out for everybody, and she's always making sure everyone's okay. She's a very positive person, positive outlooks, and she's been very influential in that way to me. And like I said, to her siblings, she's just been that person that has basically taken control of everything, and she's just amazing. She's a great kid.
Realizing who I was as a person.
Being like a really stable and dependable person, my life's kind of all over the place, but she's the one person that's like always there, so you can always depend on her for that.
She makes everything okay when I have doubts. She inspires me that way. She opened my eyes up to the spirit world, so yeah, she's changed my life.
Yes, many ways. She's always been there if anybody, me or my grandson or my daughter or any of my grandchildren, if they needed her, she was there instantly.
The vibe that she provides when I'm around her, in terms of like just watching her do her thing, it's crazy. Yeah.
I went to Bahamas in May of this year. I went with my boyfriend, and that was the hardest thing for me, was leaving our kids. That was so hard, but as soon as your feet touch that sand and you've seen that ocean, it makes you realize that there's so much more in this world to look forward to than just being in one city. And that's something that music gave me the option to do, was I can travel and I can perform and I can change lives all over the world. I don't have to just stick in one city and have a job and stay here forever.
She's very caring, the circumstances in which we began this journey of a relationship. It was kind of just, I don't know, it was an experience nonetheless, because it kind of all just came together like a puzzle, you know what I mean? And we were both the only two pieces of that puzzle, so it was kind of a perfect match.
I can go and see the whole world. Bahamas was absolutely beautiful. We were locals there, and we had an Airbnb, and we just enjoyed it so much. That sunrise every morning and the smell of the ocean every afternoon, and going on rides, and the food was phenomenal and out of this world, and just realizing that the feeling of knowing that you truly love somebody and being with them in a whole different country was amazing. It was our first going there, and it was nice after us both getting out of a marriage, both of us on both sides, to be able to go to a different country and just breathe in that air, that ocean air.
Meeting Gio changed my aspect on love. What's meant to be will always find a way. However, I never believed love stories existed. Turns out they don't. He taught me something so valuable that I will never truly understand: how to love somebody until I love myself. He showed me how to love me. Loving him came easily after that. Just when I had almost given up, he was placed in my life, and he has a lot of reasoning behind the accomplishments in my music career. There are days I want to stop, yet he continues to believe and push me. He stands by me and inspires me to keep the drive that he loves me for.
I think people are gonna realize how unique she is. I think a lot of people maybe they don't see that yet, but the last show that I went, I really realized how good of a songwriter she is.
Up.
That's it, going pretty far. The drive she has, the hustle she has, the not giving up attitude she has, and the talent she has just has to take her somewhere very far.
I hope she blows up. I really do. She's definitely got a lot of talent. I hope she goes big time. I really do. I don't know.
Honestly, anywhere. Sky's the limit.
Far, but I mean, if she's anything like her mother and father, the people that you meet and stuff like that, who knows if music will be the end result.
Now I got you alone.
Oh, I feel she's gonna soar. She's gonna take right off.
I think that she'll really thrive, and she always reaches for the stars, so I see it going very well for her.
Music is going to take her very far because, again, relating to her message and the content, and her relatability. I think that a lot of people are going to be able to relate to her, and a lot of people are going to be really interested and willing in hearing more about her and her experiences in life and what she did to overcome those experiences, or what she went through at any particular point in time. And people are going to be able to relate to those experiences that she's nonetheless experienced as well.
Doing good in the music industry for sure. She's just heading down the right path, and she's giving so much effort. So
Mercedes is one of the very few artists who is paying attention to the business aspect of music just as much as she's paying attention to her craft.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Mercedes at On the Rocks Cafe. She absolutely murdered it.
No, you murdered it.
So she's already registered to all her SOCANs, her BMI. She came to the crib the other day. She had all her documents with the contracts of all the beats that she got. So I think she'll definitely be a force to reckon with. I'd say I wouldn't even give her 2 years for her to be known on the nationally and definitely internationally, within an international icon within a very short period of time as well.
I believe in the butterfly effect. It, even down to how many times I brush my hair, how many strokes I take when I brush my hair, down to what ring I put on in the morning, down to how long I brush my teeth, or what kind of piece of toast my child wants, or the tantrums that they have. I believe that every single tiny thing in this world happens for a reason, that you're supposed to do all these things. You know, if you didn't stub your toe that morning, you could have been hit by that bus. And if you didn't forget to lock your door that day, your car door that day, the next person could have been killed. You know, things happen for a reason. And when it comes to my life, I've dealt with a lot of bad things, and I've been through more than anybody will ever probably know. But I believe that it all happened because it was supposed to happen. I don't think that I would change anything that's happened in my life, because I know that it's already planned. My plan's already made.
One thing I would say is just keep shooting for the stars, because you're gonna get there. You know, don't stop. You're amazing at what you do. Just keep going.
Just keep it positive and keep doing what you're doing.
Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop.
Just keep grinding.
There's no reason to take a vacation, take a break. No, just keep going. Just keep going, because you can go so far, you know?
Keep going. You'll make it.
Just keep going, really.
Don't give up. Don't stop. We're rooting for you.
Just be the best you can be, always.
Don't let anybody crush you. Don't listen to the other people.
To keep going, honestly.
Never give up.
Being a mom, a musician, and a worker, though, is definitely interesting. It messes with your brain a lot, because you're I write my music while I'm driving to work, or when I'm driving my children to school. My children were never in daycare before, so it was all day and all night. So we'd be up at 6 a.m. cooking and cleaning, and with my OCD, it makes it even greater, because everything has to be spotless all the time. But doing all of that, with that being said, it's nonstop. It's the full 24 hours, and there is not enough time in a day. 6 a.m. and then up until 12, and then maybe a nap if the kids want to, and then you got to get ready for work. But don't forget, you have a show coming up in 3 days, and you have friends and you have family, but you got to make dinner, and don't forget that it's garbage day, and you got to shovel the snow, and you got to make sure that you get that oil change, and you have to go to school, and you have to write this stuff. And when's your next single gonna drop? Yeah, it's consistent, but you know what? I think it's gonna make it beneficial, because if and when my music is recognized, and if and when I am recognized, I'm not gonna be bothered one bit when it comes to that busy schedule, when I'm booking show upon show, and I have to bring my kids in that tour bus and make it happen. I'll be able to make it happen.
Why do you have one word for that, really? It's my daughter, right? Like,
in one word, well-rounded.
I mean, there's a big list. Just, I guess, a go-getter. Yeah, lots of energy and, yeah, lots of ideas.
Motivated is one word, and successful would be the second word. Mercedes will be successful because she is motivated.
special.
She's extra. She always goes above and beyond with everything that she does. She's a perfectionist. She's a hard worker. She's always there for everybody else. She's got a great heart. I'd have to say one of the best people I know, but she gets that from me. No, I'm just kidding.
I was thinking about the one you said before that one.
What's one word that you describe about Mommy?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Okay.
Probably passionate, because I mean she definitely has a internal fire burning in her in regards to like the passion that she has towards pretty much anything, whether it be her kids or the music, or anything that affects her, you know, has an impact on her in life.
Perfect.
Badass. She's very passionate about it, and she ensures that, you know, she always either meets the goal that she's trying to achieve, or she does whatever it is that she's doing to the best of her abilities.
Hustler. In a good way. She's a hustler.
She's just wonderful.
Strong.
Love. So many things.
Passionate.
Talented in the sense of like uniqueness and the fact that she has a lot of hidden talent.
Do you want to say one wish for Mommy?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
I wish she never died.
The one thing that I can definitely say is I'm grateful and I made it and I'm okay and my family's okay and my brothers and sisters are okay and I have done every single thing I possibly could to make sure that my family stays afloat. I've always been a fixer, always, and I think that's what made me a fixer in the sense of relationships as well. If you're not going to be there for me and my accomplishments and understand that I don't have time right now, then I'm gonna walk past it, because if I'm building a house or you're building a house and I have a whole foundation to build, I don't have boards, I don't have anything to build this house. If you're gonna hand me a nail and you're gonna start hammering with me, then that's a true friend and I'm gonna stand by you and I'm gonna remember that. And when I have time and I have success, which I will have success, I will accomplish things, then all the power to you. I will appreciate you as a friend and I will give you just as much back. But if you're gonna sit and watch me build this house and then you're gonna judge how I'm building this house or how long it's taking me to do it, then when I have my housewarming party and there's hundreds of people in my backyard partying, don't try to come knock on my door. That's how I look at it. It's not fun building that foundation, but it's fun having that house party after, once you have that home. So I'm building my home right now, I'm building my empire, and if I have to do it alone with just my kids, then I will. Hopefully I have people by my side, and I do have people by my side, but you know what? I've lost more people than I've gained, and I'm proud of that. It means I'm doing good.
Whatever happens, happens, and when it happens, just let it happen.
I will make it. I have to tell myself all the time. You know, my mom raised 7 children on her own, and there was a lot of my help. But even though with all the mistakes she made and all the mistakes that my dad made, one thing that they always did was they loved me. And I've been through some stuff. I've seen countless things. But my parents loved me. So don't ever worry about what your children are going through or what they've seen or what you've done or anything like that. Every day is different, and you need to push through your goals, and you need to continue to raise them into gentlemen and young ladies that they deserve to be. And that's something that I always wanted to do, being a single mom. And even now, being in a blended family, it's even harder, because now I have 5 children that are in my home, and I'm trying to raise 5 children, and my boyfriend's at work or I'm at work, and we're trying to do this and make it work. And sometimes it was even easier doing it by myself because I had control of it. Just whatever is being thrown at you, always embrace it and always know that you can do it, because you're not ever thrown anything that you can't handle in life. You're always given what you can handle in life. So the strong ones are going to get worse things, and the strong ones are going to have harder trauma to deal with, but the strong ones are going to make it through, and the strong ones are going to understand that they were able to do it.
Being a musician and a mother, there's lots of criticism. Society has such a stereotypical view on women with children, especially statistically with single women. When I stopped posting my children, on social media due to privacy and safety reasons and posted my photo shoots and my music career to gain a following. I had so many supporters, but I also had plenty of spectators, assuming I no longer had time for my children. We are under such a judgmental era right now. People see a mother and expect turtlenecks and messy buns, baby fat, and bags under our eyes. Cooking and cleaning, our dreams and hopes become our children's dreams and hopes. But in reality, just because you're a mother doesn't mean you can't take care of yourself. Nobody noticed that I lost a dramatic amount of weight from lack of sleep, from waking up to my children every hour. Nobody see my depression from my separation or the $5,000 a month in bills that I had to come up with. Nobody see me working from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. and up again at 6 a.m., cooking and cleaning, attending appointments, and encouraging my children, who have speech delays and sensory issues, learn pronunciation and grammar. Not to mention my own health issues and my long-distance relationship, and ensuring that my siblings were okay. Nobody see me somehow creating music every single night, and every time I had just 1 minute for myself, driving to work became my music time. But nobody noticed me attending rehearsals on my only 3 hours off in that week, that I could have spent relaxing. They didn't see unrehearsed shows because my kids were first, or me doing my hair and makeup 10 minutes before sound check with all 3 of my kids hanging from my legs and screaming, or all the times I said no to celebrating a successful show because I wanted to get home to my babies and kiss them goodnight. My one night out of every month then became studio time, and my one day off became time for photo shoots because building my dreams and my children watching me accomplish them was more important to me and is more important to me than anything in this world. But what people seen was Miss Benzo. They no longer seen Mercedes. Working out to get a fit body, which never happened. It was from busting my ass to create my empire. They seen makeup, lingerie, and laughing with my friends. They seen success and renamed it as selfishness, when in reality it was selflessness. We're stuck in a world with opinions and rumors being labeled as facts, and the unsuccessful, envious enemies acting as if they are your friend. What I know is, I have just enough people on my side, and if all else were to fail, I know I did it for my children, and will continue to do it for them, and not one misunderstood spectator will change my dedication to my dreams, or my family. Looks are deceiving.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you, Zariah. I love you so much, Mama. I love you, Aries. I love you, Mommy. I love you, Orange. I love you more. I love you. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hush, little baby, don't you say a word. Mama's gonna give you everything, you deserve it more. I knew I loved you even before I see your eyes. And that first breath you took, you became my whole life. I hope when you're feeling low, you focus on the high.